Hello, welcome to another video. I hope this is going to be a very summery, very bright themed video filled with some books that you might take as recommendations to read in the summer, but these books are kind of my summer TBR. So I am not really one to set a TBR, however I actually really enjoyed setting myself a sort of TBR for June because I took the pressure away and said if I didn't want to read those books I didn't have to, but it also kind of took away the pressure of when I finished my book to think, what am I going to read now? Because as much as I am a mood reader and that will always guide me, doesn't mean there's not a pressure when I finish a book and I don't think, oh my god, I don't know what to read. So this is kind of my summer TBR. It's a loose summer TBR. It's the books that I'd kind of like to get to. I've picked out 10 books. They're all a bit big. Well, they're hardbacks. Most of them are hardbacks. Apart from four of them. 6 of them are hardbacks, 4 of them are paperbacks. So I feel like that makes them seem more daunting, even though actually they're not that much bigger. But let's dive in. I'm going to tell you what I've got. There's a couple of contemporaries, there's a couple of ones that I really should just wait until the autumn to read, but for various different reasons will not be. So I'm just going to throw them at you and let you know what my summer TBR is looking like. Okay, the first book I have literally picked out because I think the setting of this cannot not be read in summer, so it's either going to be this summer or next summer or many summers forward or just never at all. That is 9 Perfect Strangers by Liane Moriarty. This is the author of Big Little Lies, which isn't a book I have read, but is a TV show I have watched and really enjoyed. Now the front cover of this immediately gives me those massive summer vibes. As I said, it feels like you have to read this one in the summer, and the fact that we can't really go abroad this year, or like I'm choosing not to go abroad this year for this kind of a holiday, means that I am going to be getting my fix from my literature and from my film and TV consumption. This is set on a luxury resort, takes place over 10 days where no one can leave. There's 9 strangers together and there's some big lies happening and some big secrets being kept. I think this is going to be a thriller. I think it's going to have some twists and turns. The only thing I'm a little bit nervous with this is my mum tried to read this and hated it and gave it back to me. So I don't know if that's a tell sign that it's not going to be very good, or perhaps it just wasn't for my mum. So I hope I'm going to enjoy it, but the main reason I'm putting this in a summer TBR is because when else am I meant to read this? I mean, I could read it in the winter to make myself think of the summer, but I can think of no better place to read this than just sat outside on the swinging chair as it's really sunny. Then we've got Girl Reading by Katie Ward. This is a historical fiction, but it is set over multiple different time zones. So we start off, I think, in Renaissance period, and then we end in 2008. All I know about this is that it's jumping from each time zone and following a different girl within each time zone. I know nothing beyond that point. I think this is going to be an adventure story. I bought this from a charity shop last year. I haven't yet picked it up, but the fact that it's called Girl Reading makes me want to pick it up because I think it's going to be a book about books. The blurb describes it as an adventure story, so that is kind of just where I'm getting that from, but really it doesn't give much away as to what this is about, but I want to try it. Hilary Mantel has blurbed it on the front, so that must be good things. Ward is wise, poised and utterly original. Her eye and her words are fresh, as if she is inventing the world. I honestly think out of all the books I've selected, this is one I'm least likely to definitely get to, but I do really want to read it, and also this green cover gives me all the summer vibes, so I thought why not pull it off for this video and just kind of give myself the challenge to try it. Then we have got Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. This is a contemporary following a woman who has just completed a PhD. She goes off and celebrates in Vegas, gets married to a woman she barely knows, I think. Yeah, whose name she doesn't know. She ends up getting in this massive messy situation, doesn't really know what she wants to do with her life, and then just ends up running away from it all and just ignoring the fact that she has to deal with it. I think this is going to have some moments in it that are probably going to be relatable in the sense of all the pressures that life can put on you and the things that society's telling you have to do and the stages you have to do them at. I think this is going to probably try and challenge those. That is why I wanted to read this, because where I am in my life at the moment, I am at a stage where I'm seeing lots of people do certain things at certain times and I'm not doing the same things, and it's like you have to remind yourself that it's okay to do things at different times. So I think I'm hoping this book gives me some of that, maybe, but it's really short contemporary, so this should be a really easy one to read, maybe in a day. I don't know. I always am hesitant saying that going in because I don't know the style, if it's going to be heavier or if it's going to be quite a light contemporary. I don't know. but this looks like it should be a really good one for just like a summery weekend. Then I have got The Readers of Broken Wheel Recommend by Katrina Bevald. This is, looks like it's gonna be like a super lovely, wholesome story. It's about a girl who has never left Sweden. She's 28, she decides to embark on a journey, and she ends up setting up a bookshop for a town that she feels desperately needs one. I get the impression this is gonna be really wholesome and lovely and like a journey of discovery and finding yourself, but also finding all these lovely people along the way. It kind of gives me that calm, relaxing vibe that I want from summer reads sometimes. Sometimes I just want something that I can just dive into and feel like I'm just getting something good out of it. Like, I'm not reading it because it's adventure and magic and high action. I'm reading it because I feel like I am taking away some kind of calming, good presence. And this book is giving me those vibes. Also, not that this is the reason it's on the list, but we've got the blue and the yellow, which for me are very summery, bright colours. This follows the main character going from Sweden to Iowa as well, so I'm going to see different areas of the world that I've not been to myself. And generally, I'm just really interested. It seems like the perfect kind of summer read. Now onto the hardbacks. Now, this next one, I'm just going to get it out of the way because I keep saying in every video, I really want to read this, but I want to read it in the summer. And this is my summer TBR video. So I have to put Queenie on that list by Candice Carty-Williams. This one I keep saying I'm going to read. I keep saying it and I haven't yet. So it's going to happen in the summer. The summer is now. This is my summer TBR. I'm going to read Queenie. It's absolutely happening. I think this is meant to be like a dark humour story following our main character Queenie. She goes through her life. I enjoy the fact that we have a little bio for her. It says, meet Queenie Jenkins, journalist, catastrophist, expressive, aggressive, funny, dramatic, loved, lonely, enough. I've seen people saying, the blurb calls this like a Bridget Jones-esque story, and then I've seen people saying, do not listen to that, it's not like that at all. So I'm not going to listen to that. It's not a Bridget Jones story, but it's got dark humour to it, which I'm quite excited. I think it's darkly comic and bitingly subversive take on life, love, race and family. I should have just read that line. You'd think I'd be able to have that memorised by now, the amount of times that I've said about this book in videos, but it's gonna happen. I'm gonna read it. Then I've got The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This was actually on my TBR for June, but I didn't get to it because I set myself more books than I needed to read so that I could have some choice if I mood read and wanted to read something slightly different. This book follows a guy who is being told that he has to go and work at this orphanage and like assess the orphanage or something like that. He's a caseworker for the department in charge of magical youth, and he is summoned and given a curious and highly classified assignment to travel to this orphanage and determine whether 6 dangerous magical children are actually dangerous. I think this is found family. I've been told so many times how wholesome and lovely it is, so I'm very, very excited to read this, although I'm also slightly scared because I'm worried this is one of those books that I will be so excited about and it'll just fall flat for me. I hope it isn't, but I don't want to completely set my expectations like up here, because what if it isn't? What if it isn't as good as I hope it is? What if everyone loves it and it's just not for me? But I really want to love it because it looks like such a cute concept. These next two are by the same author because I think you just have to read Beth O'Leary books in the summer. I have got The Switch by her and also The Road Trip. I have already read The Flat Share last summer and I absolutely loved it, so I wanted to give these both a go. The Switch follows 2 different people of very different age groups. One of them feels like she's just stuck in her place all the time. The other one feels like she's too old, so they decide to switch lives. And I think this is going to be like a learning experience of taking things for granted and appreciating what you have and seeing how you could change your life to be the life that you really want. This one should not take me long to get through. It's relatively short, but I've kind of again been semi-saving this one for the summer. But also the spine has a monstera plant on it and it makes me very happy, and I just, yeah, I love it. The Road Trip just came out this year, and this is about some people going to a wedding and they have to pick up some guys on the way, and I think that there's a girl and a guy that have just broken up with each other, or they're like recently out of their relationship together, and they have to go on this road trip together. I've heard that this one is a little disappointing. Like I've heard people say it's not as good as they hoped, but it's still really good. So I'm gonna go into this one not expecting like the Flat Share level amazing, but I hope it's still really good because I have heard that it is really good, but people have just said out of the 3, this one fell a little tiny bit flat for them. So I'm okay. I'm gonna set myself up like that going in. I could be completely wrong because people on the front say it's joyful and perfect, but I'm excited to see how this one goes. I hope it doesn't have the isolated feel because we're in the car the whole time, I assume. I'm sure they'll get out of the car and I'm sure it'll be like looking back on memories. So both of these, very excited to read. Contemporaries, perfect for summer. Beth O'Leary, perfect for summer. I am putting Hamlet on this list by Maggie O'Farrell, because I need to read this book, and if I bring this home with me for a weekend and don't bring any other books and I just sit outside in the sun with this, I will read it. Therefore, it's going on the list. However, I also think this could be a really lovely cozy autumn read. I find this one very daunting. It just seems like the kind of book that I wouldn't normally read, but I want to challenge myself to read it. It's kind of the origin story for the naming of Hamlet in a Shakespeare play. It follows this young boy, but it also follows so much other stuff. Like the blurb, the bottom line of the blurb says it's also the story of a Kestrel and its mistress, a flea that boards a ship in Alexandria, and a glovemaker's son who flouts convention in pursuit of the woman he loves. Like, it sounds like it should be kind of quirky and fun, and this is like, what award did it win? The WATERSTONES Book of the Year 2020. I really do need to read this. I know I do. I'm gonna push myself out of my comfort zone, and that is literally the reason it's on this TBR, because I want to read it. And finally, we have got The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. This one is on my TBR because I'm pretty sure, although I won't be finding out until a little bit later today, that this is the book selected for my Patreon book club pick. I think I gave 4 choices. I think this one's the one that's come out on top, so this one is therefore definitely going to be one I read in the summer, although it's dark academia, which I would normally reach for more in the autumn. But I think that there is a group, a secret society, that's being run by this professor who might also be linked to a death or multiple deaths or something, and our main character is kind of investigating what's going on. I'm very excited for this because I've heard that people are absolutely being blown away by this, and it's dubbing itself like The Secret History. Or it's not dubbing itself, the blurb's dubbing it as. Tony Parsons, specifically on the blurb, says that this is the greatest The greatest Campbell? What is a Campbell? The greatest campus novel since The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I'm really excited to get to this one as well, and this concludes my 10 books on my summer TBR. So that is all of my summer TBR books. Let me know what you plan on reading over the summer, or if you've read any of these, which should I prioritise? This is not like a set TBR thing, but these are the books that I'd really like to get to, and I feel like now I've voiced that. Maybe I will get to them. Maybe I'll like make a spreadsheet and I can look at them all when I've finished each book, and I can push myself to read a little bit wider with things like Hamlet. That is very much trying to push my reading taste, whereas something like 9 Perfect Strangers is just on there because I think it would fit the season really well. So there's different reasons those books are on there. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help me out. As I said, you can comment down below what you thought of this selection, and you can subscribe to see more of my face on your feed. I am getting very close to 10k. Well, like I say, I'm getting close to 10k. I'm in the 9ks, which the 10ks is the next Ks, but that's like, so thank you for that. That's amazing. Very exciting. And linked down below is my Patreon book club, where we will be reading The Maidens. There's other perks for my Patreon as well. It's not just a book club, but there's loads of stuff there for extra content if you want a podcast, dedicated reading vlogs, all sorts of fun things. That's down below. This will, I think, be our book club pick. I think I'll have announced it by the time you're watching this, like a week prior, so it will definitely be out there, but I'm so sure that this is the winning vote. But yeah, that's everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep smiling and stay positive.